Everybody, it's Monday. Happy Monday. We're back.
We are back. I was out till 3 a.m. last night. I had top 7 night of my life, the surreal life of J-Cal. I had maybe, this is definitely top 7. I don't know where it's ultimately going to rank.
Saying a lot, man.
Did I have a bender last night? That was awesome. I'm going to tell you all about it at the start of the show. But in terms of important things for us to discuss after a little banter, my guy, Gavin Baker, wrote a little bit of a tweet storm on a tech renaissance, cultural reboot. He's a hedge fund guy, a friend of mine, really smart cat. And this tweet storm dovetails with my other tweet storm I did on Saturday night. There's a big cultural shift going on in Silicon Valley. We're going to talk about it, the good, the bad, the ugly, and how you as founders can navigate it and how we're all going to get through it together. Mm-hmm. Hopefully it's a positive message.
I think so. It's a positive conversation about teamwork. And then though, we have a cage match. Then we're going to pit to the death ChatGPT against Google search and decide whether Google is in fact in trouble now that ChatGPT has been unleashed on the world.
That's
I think
right.
the results of our little
everybody's favorite game show, ChatGPT or shitty Google search results. That's right, everybody on the program.
No spoilers. No spoilers.
But we have hopefulness. The We Live in the Future segment has delivered, I kid you not, the #1 We Live in the Future moment in the history of that segment today. But we're not going to tell you what it's about. You got to listen to the show. When people hear this, Molly, this is literally could change the course of humanity.
I mean, we're not exaggerating in any way. So it's going to be a great show.
Stick with us. It's going to be a great show.
It's going to be a great show.
This Week in Startups is brought to you by FanDuel Sportsbook. Use code TWIST during sign up to get started with a no-sweat first bet up to $1,000. And Crowdbotics. Great ideas can change the world. And Crowdbotics is the fastest way to turn those ideas into code. Get a free scoping session for your next big app idea at crowdbotics.com/twist.
Hey, Molly, it's Monday.
It's so Monday. It's Monday.
It's Monday.
It's a Monday in late December. Like, we're rolling. Yes. We're getting her done.
We're getting it done. Although, I have to say, like, we had to go Zoom today. I couldn't do a live stream because I needed the extra filter today. I needed the Zoom touch up my appearance. Because last night...
That's what we're all talking about.
Last night...
The filter, yeah. Mm-hmm.
I had top 7 night of my life.
Which is saying a lot.
Which is in the surreal book of my life. You know, breaking like the first volume, the first, 10 chapters. This is pretty up there. So I found out at 3:00 in the afternoon yesterday, Sunday here in San Francisco, that Dave Chappelle is playing at the Chase Center. I'm like, oh, I'm a Dave Chappelle fan. Mm-hmm. And like 2 or 3 different people text me, hey, Jake, are you going tonight? I'm like, well, I didn't know he was in town. And like, it's with Chris Rock. And I'm like, oh, I love Chris Rock too. Those are 2 of my favorites.
Oh, yeah, I saw pictures of them from the Warriors game.
Yes. And so they happen to be at the Warriors game. It's no secret. My friend Chamath owned a piece of the Warriors. And I have some friends at the Warriors, like Draymond Green, who had a great podcast last year. Hopefully comes back maybe the second half of this year after the team, gets back to winning a little bit and he's focused.
Pulls it together a little bit, yeah.
A little focus time, I think, would be a good idea. So I go to the show last night. It's nice to go to see a show and laugh. The world's kind of hard these days, right? Layoffs. We're going to board meetings. The world is kind of crummy. Yeah. There's wars, culture wars, literal wars. I mean, we deal with it every day.
Culture wars turning into literal wars. It's
crazy. The world is on fire.
Yep. Yes.
And I was like, I need a break. I could use a laugh.
I'm going to go step away from the culture wars and see Dave Chappelle.
Well, it's funny as it is.
I'm sorry, that was it's
a good one, though, softball, because
really.
They both went all in on all the topics of the day. And I had just a wonderful breakthrough that no matter how crazy everything gets in this surreal life that we all share, you and I sharing more of life together here in this past year together. And we're coming up on our 1-year anniversary as co-hosts. Mm-hmm. What a wonderful thing. And thank you for coming and joining me here. for us to be able to share this time together and just work it all out. And if I had an extra ticket, I would have brought you. I was along for the ride.
Thanks,
right
boss.
now, Molly's like, wait a second. How come I didn't get that phone call? All right, listen.
I had my own party weekend. It's just that it never compares once you start talking about yours.
Okay. Fair enough. And there's another layer after this, but it's not easy being in the Illuminati. I'm just going to leave it at that.
Yeah.
In some ways, being in the Illuminati, somebody told me I'm in the Illuminati. So, I'm just like, okay, it's a little underwhelming. Once you get in the Illuminati, you realize like these are some pretty annoying people.
Yeah.
Illuminati people are just...
You got to it's a lot of work being Illuminati. You got to always
It's just a lot of work to even talk to them.
Yeah.
Once you're in...
Handshaking.
Yeah, you're in. So it's kind of like you just show up. But at all these Illuminati meetings, I mean, I never met so many people who like the sound of their own voice.
What?
It's like, in a way, it's like a bunch of band camp and theater kids.
Yes.
Except they're running businesses and countries and, organizations, and they're going to Davos. And the Illuminati is annoying and underwhelming. And they're not much fun. I'll be honest. You don't want to be in the Illuminati.
Yeah.
You kind of want to be like right on the outskirts of the Illuminati which is kind of where I am. I'm Illuminati adjacent more than in the, I kind of like, I come to Illuminati events, but I'm not in Illuminati. It's sort of like Will Smith in Scientology, maybe. Like, he's not in Scientology, but maybe people say he is,
Yeah.
Kind of that kind of
I had a holiday party, just as a brief detour. Yes. I had a big holiday party on Saturday, and an Illuminati friend came to the party and was basically like, oh God, all our VC parties are the worst.
This is fun.
This is fun as hell, right? Because it was like we were just dancing and there was like lumpia, but I also had a bartender and like everybody had to get dressed up. And it was like a nice mix of like, it just still have fun. Like my hairdresser's here.
The Illuminati.
It's good to be a normal, is what I'm saying.
This is what happens at Illuminati. Then you and I are in a conversation, okay? So like we'll just make eye contact. We're tilting our heads. We're talking, oh yeah, how's it going? And this is what happens at Illuminati party. What I'm doing right now is looking over your shoulder.
Yeah.
And if the person behind you is, because everybody in the room is a 97.5 or higher. So I'm looking at you and I'm like 98.2. Oh, is the person behind you a 99.1? Okay, let me wrap this up and let me see if I can level up to the next person in the room in the conversation. Truly annoying, this Illuminati stuff.
Totally.
Anyway.
It's actually, isn't that just like LA?
Well, that's celebrities. Celebrities are only like a small percentage of celebrities make it into the Illuminati.
It's clout hunting all the way around.
It's pure clout hunting.
All the time. I noticed it a little bit in that VIP room at the Warriors game where it's like, oh, you guys are working.
Exactly. So we have an incredible time.
Yeah.
So it was like when you and I were backstage at the Warriors game for the finals or whatever.
Right. And you have to be like, what do you do? Where are you from?
What do you do? Oh, yes. Oh, Mollywood.
Send me your card.
New York Times Marketplace. Oh, yes. Oh, I'm a subscriber. So,
okay, but so there you are, though. However,
good time.
Good setup on how it wasn't that fun, because it sounds like it was actually really fun.
It was a lot of fun. And everybody needed to blow off a little steam.
Yeah.
So, I'm friends with Draymond, and Draymond says, hey, let's go hang out at the court. And a little practice facility at the Chase Center. So me and Draymond are just shooting some J's. J Cal, a little Brooklyn comes out, a little J Cal fadeaway. And my friend Steph Curry comes over and, J Cal, you're short every shot, just aim for the backboard, overshoot every time. And then literally 3 in a row, boom, boom, boom. J Cal's dropping bombs. I'm wearing Crockett & Jones dress shoes. And I kid you not, Dave Chappelle, Chris Rock. So now I'm shooting baskets with Chris Rock. Oh, not Chris Rock. He starts with me. With Chappelle, Steph, and Draymond. Surreal. Like levels
insane.
Of surrealness.
I'm
not going to drop any more names here, but
court.
Not on the arena court, like on their practice facility, which is in the same building. Lo and behold, Dave invites everybody to go to a secret show at 1 a.m. he does at one of the local comedy stores here. So I go see Dave Chappelle do, another set where he sits on stage for 2 hours.
Oh, really?
This is after he's on stage for an hour at the Chase Center.
Did he smoke the whole time?
he smokes.
Yeah, right? Like a lot.
Continuously.
Yeah.
And I don't know if it's a shtick and they're fake cigarettes, but I get the sense they're real. And I'm trying to figure out, like, how is that possible? And then I remember, oh, right, if you're the funniest person on the planet, like, who cares? And I had like another revelation, like, wow, in society, there are rules, and then there is like reality. And the reality is, I'm fine with a little secondhand smoke. If I get to hang out till 3 a.m, hearing Chappelle workshopping stuff, Chappelle is the greatest entertainer. I've seen some pretty amazing entertainers in my life. I've seen Michael Jordan and
Gaga?
Patrick Ewing.
Chappelle. Gaga, Chappelle. Gaga, Chappelle. I'm just saying that was the last time you were saying greatest entertainer. So I'm just wondering what the stack up is there.
Like literally on the Mount Rushmore, like watching a Lady Gaga show and then watching Chappelle in a room of 70 people, Molly, hold court and just interact with the audience. Hey, what do you do? Oh, yeah? It's your girlfriend? I mean, that kind of stuff. And then he's talking to these people because he started, part of his career was here in the Bay Area. He knows the names of the waitresses, the bartender, security, the DJ. He's chopping it up with them. He's like, remember the joke I told 22 years ago in Oakland when we worked at that club? The guy's like, oh, I got it. And he plays a sound effect. And then Chappelle tells a joke from 22 years ago, tells the history of the joke. It was unbelievable. So anyway, I just like to say, Jesus Christ, I'm grateful for my life. Because not only that.
Right answer. Yep.
20 different people are stopping me. Oh, I love This Week in Startups. I'm a founder. Oh, all in, this and that. Oh, I came to the launch festival. Just wonderful to have like a minor amount of recognition for our work and some of the other work I've done in my life from people of importance in the world who are doing great things as well. And so just a really wonderful evening out on the town. And so shout out to everybody involved. Leave it at that. Okay, everybody, it's time. The NFL playoffs are almost here, and I'm so excited. Only a few more weeks of regular season football. That means right now is the perfect time for you to download FanDuel. That's America's #1 sports book. Check it out right now. FanDuel is giving customers a no-sweat first bet of up to $1,000. That's right, up to $1,000 in free bets back if your first bet doesn't win. Just sign up with my promo code TWIST, TWIST. And FanDuel is the best place to bet. And you know why that is, right? They have all your favorite bets, from point spreads to parlays and even my favorite, player props. I love focusing in on my favorite players. Makes the game more exciting. I get a sweat. The app is safe, it's secure, it's super easy to use, and of course, you're going to get your winnings paid out fast, which is what we all want. Here are some current NBA MVP odds, because this is one I like to make a bet on. I like a wager. Right now, top 3 MVP betting favorites are Jason Tatum, Giannis, and Luka. They're all sitting at plus 300. But you know who I got? I got my guy Steph Curry. He's at plus 1,000 right now. That means you can bet $100 to win 1,000. So that's it. That's my bet. Sign up today with the promo code TWIST for your no-sweat first bet. Make every moment mean more this season with FanDuel, the official sportsbook partner of the NFL. That's right. But so much news over the weekend. You and I were just chatting, and I feel like there's a cultural moment going on in our industry. So as much as Chappelle is trying to navigate that, I realized what we're doing here is important work because we have to navigate some very dicey cultural issues. But we're all humans. And humans share a lot in common. And we fight over little marginal things. But the truth is, we all want to wake up in the morning, do good work, see our families, have a laugh. And so the work here is important because we can help people navigate it. So let's talk about the absolute cultural war and disastrous, violent, insane, deranged culture war in technology. Okay. Welcome to the show, everybody.
Welcome to the show, everybody. Here we go. I will say that I was lucky enough. I was lucky enough to not only get to have this wonderful party with friends and family, but also, even though I was there to see Tom Brady, because this was my brother's bucket list adventure at the Niners game yesterday.
Ooh.
We were there instead to witness the day that Brock Purdy became a superstar and Tom Brady, his career ended. So it was an exciting weekend. It's like, you could tell it's like party weekends all around. However, yes. Meanwhile, all around us, this conversation was happening and is going to continue to happen, evidently. This idea that the culture of the tech world, sounds like specifically the tech work world, is about to change. Or at least if you are talking to investors and founders
Boards,
or CEOs
founders.
or board members, the executive class, if you will, that there is a change afoot. So it was kind of exemplified by this tweet thread by Gavin Baker, the CIO and managing partner at Atreides Management. Is that named after Dune, by the way? Do we think that
it might very well be. I know Gavin socially. Gavin is one of the most brilliant capital allocators, thinkers in the space. Made some pretty colossal bets. And
evidently a giant Dune nerd, which is awesome.
And a bit under the radar, if I'm being honest. I've tried to get him on the show. He's podcast shy, like some people are. But, so
he's Boston-based, Atreides Management. It's like a crossover hedge fund, invests in both private and public companies, has $4.8 billion under management as of the end of Q3. And some of its private growth stage investments include GoPuff, Sonder, and Republic, and then has some huge public positions at Amazon, AMD, Meta, and Square.
You could think of him like
Block.
Yeah, he's like a Brad Gerstner, right? Public, private.
Okay.
Yeah, big checkbook,
totally.
Big bets.
But generally, it sounds like quieter, or at least like not as.
They're both extremely thoughtful. When you start managing that level of money, you spend your days. We spend our days with a lot of founders, right? They spend their time with like 10 bets, 20 bets max, and they're like constantly removing 2 or 3 bets to add a bet. And so they're just sitting there with some of the smartest brainiacs in the world, spreadsheet jockeys, studying stuff and just moving, large swaths of money around in very strategic bets to try to move a $4 billion hedge fund to a 5, to a 6, to a 12.
Right.
Kind of like if you've ever seen Billions, Axe Capital, that was based on, an amalgamation of hedge fund managers, but not the tech hedge fund managers. Those were more like the pure finance ones on the East Coast. But so he's not that, but he is very smart. And I'll preface this by saying the speculative asset bubble was the fault. It's very important, I think, to set the stage here. As painful as it is, the speculative asset bubble was set by the leadership, capital allocators. I always want to make sure people understand where to place the blame before we get into the pain.
Yeah. Yes.
Got to place the blame before we address the pain. Capital allocators, management, founders, created an age of excess and speculation and coddling and all kinds of stuff. And that speculative asset bubble includes crypto, includes growth stocks, includes a lot of things, is now leading to what I'm dubbing the white collar recession.
Yeah.
Speculative asset bubble leading to the white collar recession.
And the white collar recession, well, let's go through the tweet storm before I give some analysis. Okay, here's what Gavin Baker wrote in alongside a post from, he said, with permission, a letter announcing a riff at a startup, right? It was images of this letter sent by an anonymous CEO in his portfolio, and then his major takeaways. The major takeaways go like this. He writes, the fact that Twitter is running well with headcount down significantly really matters. Whether they admit it or not, everyone in Silicon Valley admires Elon. A lot of venture-funded CEOs are sending emails like this, inspired by Elon and taking drastic action. Margins are going up. So we have some screenshots of the letter, and we'll pull that up.
With permission, he did this.
With permission, exactly. And the name of the company is redacted, and the number of FTEs is redacted. But the gist of the letter, the synopsis, is that the CEO writes that they noticed around 2016, 2017 that the, quote, hardcore startup culture of grinding and being a high performer was replaced with making sure employees felt appreciated and had amazing benefits. And to them, this CEO writes, it became more about perks than about performance. But now, thanks to, in part, to Elon's handling of Twitter, this CEO thinks we're entering a tech renaissance where, quote, the industry can be rebuilt on strong principles and ideals that can last for generations and spur the development of technologies and profits beyond our imagination. The letter then ends with the following quote: "We're going to be firing a bunch of people." Okay, that's not a quote.
Yes.
We're going to be, and this is a very inspiring setup to, we are going to be doing another layoff. Only exceptional performers will remain. This will take our team to redacted FTEs. Since the last RIF, the CEO wrote, morale has improved to an all-time high, and we've been able to do more with less. I expect to see a similar impact this time around.
Yeah. So, and I would say this predates, Twitter and what Elon's doing over there. We had a very similar thing from Brian over at Airbnb. When he did his riff, he said, I got caught up in this. It's my fault. Zuckerberg, it's my fault. There's a lot of folks starting to realize. Those might be
a little different from the way this is worded, but yes.
I think, here's the important point here.
Mm-hmm.
There was an era of excess. We all know that. If you want to blame zero interest rates, that to me seems like blaming somebody who goes to Vegas and goes on a bender, gambling and losing their mind for 2 days on the fact that the cage gave them chips when they asked for a wire from their bank account.
This is overhiring. It's overinvesting in the wrong. It's being like, oh my God, money. I mean, it is a little bit money is free, but it's like, oh my God, money's free. Let's invent the metaverse. And
it's
just
a bender.
Add that. It's a bender.
It's an entrepreneurial bender. I've seen people do this. I'm talking about real world Vegas.
Yeah.
I've seen people who have money go on a bender, and I go to bed, it's 4 a.m. and they're at the blackjack table. I get my 6-7 hours of sleep. I come down at 11. I want to hit the buffet before it closes, get a little coffee and a croissant. I'm like, there's no way they're still at the blackjack table. I went to bed at 3. It's 11 a.m. They're still at the blackjack table. They're still there. They're chasing it. This is what happened in our industry.
100%. And it's happened before, right? My brother was actually telling me a story about when he moved here during the boom. The .com boom, and met a guy who had cashed out from an to be unnamed tech company that had gone public, had $20 million and a Ferrari, and was doing cocaine off of his keys at the bar. And then promptly started crying about how hard how he didn't know if he could trust his friends, and he was never going to be able to find love because he had too much money. He didn't know if he could trust them. And he was doing all these drugs. And then, and then my brother was like, we don't do feelings, just turn it off like a light, shove it down on the inside. And then the guy in thanks takes him to the back of the Ferrari and pulls out a tin of drugs and is like, take what you need. Thanks for the help. And my brother's like, no, thank you. Right. So these, we have seen these kinds of benders.
Yes.
And then we have seen them get followed by pain. Here's what I think is interesting about this comment. There seem to be two approaches here.
Right.
One is the CEO, got carried away. We're going to return to fundamentals. We're going to come together as a team and we're going to get the work done. And
sounds familiar.
The version that is my spoiled ass employees are out the door because a bunch of them are losers who have not been pulling their weight. And it's it's this very punitive. It's like it's like you
revenge
built a freaking giant castle that you couldn't afford. And then now you're punishing the workers and acting like it's somehow their fault. And then your, kind of reaction to this is going to be, I'm going to, reduce to the bare minimum, get rid of the dead weight, which is just such a just such, I'm sorry, an insulting and frankly, it feels like there are some members of the executive class here and the investor class and the CEO class who are sort of thrilled that they can finally take off the mask and stop pretending that these people are people. Right, with all their pesky needs. And it's listen, I get that you wish that they were already robots.
Yeah.
But they're not. And so you have this kind of double thing happening where I think there are some companies who have managed to create and maintain a supportive culture where people like being. Yeah. Airbnb, Slack, Twilio, Salesforce, those have been high performing companies with really positive work cultures.
Yeah.
And now you're seeing some CEOs being like, I'm freaking stoked that I don't have to be nice to these people anymore. And I think it's generational.
There's a culture war here, right? Yeah. And what you're describing is when the market comes apart like this, everybody's under stress.
Yeah.
Then you start to see some true colors come out. You start to see some emotions that maybe were bottled up.
Yeah.
So to play cultural commentator here for a second, and I did prerequisites by placing blame where it belongs, on the coddling that was designed by venture capitalists and CEOs. They designed this. Why did they design it? They wanted to corner the talent market, the talent market.
Yeah.
And they had free money. So instead of focusing on the business fundamentals and saying just bottom up, blank sheet accounting, budgeting, I think it's called like zero-based budgeting, which is where you say, hey, I need to make a podcast. What do I need? Okay, I need a host. Okay, maybe I should have 2 co-hosts. Okay, I need an editor. I need a producer. And I need a sales executive. Instead of doing that, where you just kind of build up, like, what is the essential thing you need? And how many hours does it take to edit this? How long does it take to do a clip? How many clips do we want to do a week? How long is the show going to be? Are we going to go direct to tape? And you sort of analyze it.
And to what end? What do we want to accomplish?
What do we want to accomplish, right? So
you do work backwards from there.
Right. So you have, this is the output, and then you build. What people did was they said, all right, so let's budget X amount for that and just spend it however. And that's a lazy person's way of running a business. And that's what everybody in the industry did. They just said, okay, this group gets 10 million, this group gets 2 million, this group gets 20 million. And they just ran with it because, as people were saying, I think in this letter, the person, it describes like 3 fundraisings in a year. What we used to have in Silicon Valley is a merit-based, highly stressful, milestone-based funding. I've talked about milestone-based funding for a long time on this podcast. And what that did was it just kept a lot of intellectual honesty, kept a lot of pressure on management teams and founders. The CEOs felt extreme pressure because you'd start a fundraise 6 to 9 months after your last fundraising. And if you got it done, you got it done. And if you didn't get it done, game over. And that was that leash that, and I'm calling it a leash for a reason, because VCs would jerk that chain on founders. Founders were subservient to this leash and chain that VCs had them on. And you'd get towards the end of that money and, you couldn't get a term sheet? Great. Here's the most punitive term sheet you can imagine. And we're going to grind you down, founders, and you're going to work harder. And so there was this, it was sadistic at times with how the leadership of these teams were treated. But it did make everybody like gladiators. And so you have this gladiator culture from the, post.com era and the early part of that entrepreneurial thing, then faced with this age of excess. Everybody got fat, everybody spent too much, yada, yada. And then, of course, these VCs who were yanking the chain, now they were chasing all these deals. If you want to build an app, you want to build a startup, you want to build a website, a service, a marketplace, any of these things, well, you're going to need to have a really good plan. And if you don't have a good plan, well, your idea is probably going to fail. Well, I've got a solution for you. Crowdbotics gives you access to the best practices for your specific app. What this means is Crowdbotics has all the pre-built app templates ready to build your startup faster. You're not starting from scratch. Your developers would have to start from zero. These developers at Crowdbotics and their team, they've got that technology ready to go. And so the architecture is going to come together very quickly. You can think of Crowdbotics as a CTO as a service, right? A chief technology officer who you can just drop in and boom, they are going to build your app for you quick and they're going to spec it out perfectly. So if you're not sure where to start, Crowdbotics also offers professional scoping. Now, this is going to help you flesh out your project. They're going to ask you the important questions. They're going to help you flesh out the features maybe you haven't thought of, right? I want you to talk to the folks at Crowdbotics and let them show you how good they are at what they do. They will schedule a free scoping session with you and get you a detailed build plan at crowdbotics.com/twist. That's crowd, BOTICS.com/twist. Try Crowdbotics and see what they can do for you in their scoping session. You got nothing to lose. And of course, as I've said many times here, like you can't blame employees. If you're going to do my dry cleaning, okay, got to do my dry cleaning anyway. You're going to buy me lunch. I was going to go out, but I'll go to the cafeteria.
Well, so now, fair, these companies all made a lot of money. I think it's important to note that, like,
yes,
that culture didn't necessarily, we can't like one-to-one correlate that with a shocking lack of productivity. It actually helped create the 5 most valuable companies in the world.
Right.
So like, this idea that somehow there was this massive slacker culture and nobody was prospering is also ridiculous.
Yeah, and it was basically the company we're talking about here is Google, which started this. We talked about for many times on this podcast that they did it to corner the market on talent. And then this wasn't something that was black and white. This is something that happened over time.
Right.
Where the perks and the number of positions and the size of different groups in an organization and the number of different groups that people felt they needed, everything got bloated. Everything became easier. And what people forget is those 4 or 5 companies that created this culture had struck oil. Most startups do not strike oil. Most startups find like a little bit of oil here, a little bit of oil there, and then they shut the rigs down. Yep. When you hit pay dirt and you got 20 rigs blowing oil out of there faster than you can sell it, and you're just stockpiling it, and all you have to do is turn the spigot on, and you got liquid gold, black gold coming out of there into barrels, which was Google, Facebook, Microsoft, Airbnb, Uber.
When products, you're getting your Lambos, you're going to be head to toe diamonds.
And it's just the situation becomes like, well, why even bother looking at this? So then that fed its way into unprofitable startups, and that became the problem. So where do we go from here? That's always the question. Where do we go from here? So as part of this cultural reset, I think you pointed out astutely, there's different ways to go about this. There is the where the people who are soft and weak, you just lost your jobs. We didn't like you. We never liked working with you. I see a little bit of that. But the more important thing, and I'm giving this advice to people because I've been through this and I know how to get through it. It's my 3rd time going to war like this. Put your head down as a leader. You set an example. You take on more work. You grind harder. You get people focused on the things that are essential in the business. You watch every penny. And you run lean and you run hard. And that's my advice to all founders here. And that also goes down to, the rank and file class. Everybody has to look at themselves in the mirror, from the CEO down to the person who's been at the company, the junior salesperson, first developer out of school, whatever your job you got. You got to just be efficient, look at your calendar, look at your output, and just say, does this company need me or not? Am I contributing to the team? And if I'm not contributing to a team, let me find a team I can go contribute to. This happens with basketball players all the time. They're on a team. The last 4 or 5 folks on the bench don't get a lot of time, but they serve a big purpose in practice, don't they? They're the team that you play in practice. They're the other, the away jerseys in the practice games. So what you need to do here, if you're in one of these companies, very simple. And you probably see me tweeting about it. You get to see it internally, Molly. We just did a Founder University episode. It's, I think, one of the best ones we've ever done. Kelly, I don't know if you saw, I shared it this week, and Kelly did an amazing 10-minute episode. We'll put links into the show note if you search for founder.university, just on something very simple called time blocking or boxing and different methods for being more efficient. If everybody in a company becomes 10, 20% more efficient every month for 3 months, all of a sudden, it's like the company hired 3 or 4 more people. It's time just for everybody to work smarter, harder, and for management to set priorities better. Anything that's not essential as a project, you just got to cut it, put it on the do not right now list, and then get everybody focused. And then we all get fit, and then we get out of it. That's what has to happen right now. That's the cultural moment we're in. The party went on too long. Everybody needs to get an IV, get some fresh air, work out, eat some soup, get back in the game. That's it. We don't have to make this into more than it is, everybody. The economy is going to be brutal in 2023. I believed it was going to be a double dip recession, and I thought we had a 50-50 of a soft landing. I think now it's like 80-20, 70-30. Who knows? But I always said it's going to be 6 quarters. This is quarter 3. It's going to be hard for 3 more quarters. That's it. Everybody tighten your belts, work harder, work smarter. You don't have to kill yourself. But this is, kind of the price you pay when you have a big hangover. Things were too easy last year. Things are going to be too hard next year. Part of the cycle. Boom bust. And if you haven't been through a boom bust cycle right now, congratulations. Because we live in the modern world, the developed world, whatever you want to call it.
Come on. Everybody we're talking. Well, I guess there are some young people who haven't been through a boom bust cycle. It's true.
Well, I mean,
to be fair,
this is 14 years, Molly. How long has this boom been? 14 years? 13 or 14? 2008?
Wow.
9?
We're getting up there. But there was that kind of slow, it's
12 years.
12 years. Yeah. I mean, it's an unprecedented, it's truly an unprecedented
If you're 33,
run.
this is all you've known.
The thing I would add to what you're saying is and this is where you know me to be a bit of a populist, right? So when I see
of course, go for it.
really wealthy investors and CEOs complaining about their employees and talking about how everybody got so spoiled and, it's sort of like, okay, well, listen, hold up. A lot of if you have people on your team who are not productive, that's actually on you, right? That's a leadership. And I think that a lot of times, especially if you startups don't necessarily and early aren't prioritizing HR and systems development. And the thing is that when companies scale, they change. It's not as fun. And also you actually do have to implement lasting systems in order to let everybody know what they're working toward. You got your KPIs and your OKRs and everybody's got shared goals and they're working toward those goals and they know what the metrics of success are. And then you have everybody moving in the same direction. You also, when you are a really big company, yes, or even a medium-sized company, you have to hit your hitters and sitters. But your sitters do the work that let your hitters succeed, right? Like the guys on the bench who make the whole team possible in some way. And so I think that I would say that for founders who are going through this, it's not just about founders coding more. It's about figuring out how leadership is going to make your company run better. It is really 100%. Ultimately we don't manage in this country anymore. There was a book about management and how the biggest drawback in corporate America is literally middle management because we don't train people how to manage. We don't value management and leadership and the ability to say this person's good at this. And so have them do this and this person's good at this. And it's like a whole discipline that I think probably happens even less at startups than it does in corporate America because it's just not valued, right? It's no, we don't have time for that. We're all builders and we're all working and we're all grinding and we're doing this thing. But the fact of the matter is the sucky part of scale is you got to manage. I don't want to do it.
What is management?
I'm going to be an individual contributor forever because managing sucks. But management is about people.
Well, you know what you are actually? You're moving into, and I think this will be when we talk about your second year development.
Not a manager.
Well, okay, but hold on a second.
Yes, okay, yeah, sorry. Go.
When you go into your second year here, and we start thinking about what we're going to talk about on VC Sunday School and some things, I think actually a valid topic is, not just how to invest, but what to do after investing, right? Post-investing. So this could be a little roadmap for us. And what you want to be is player coach. When Draymond's out there, when Jordan was out there, they're very vocal, and they're acting as a backup coach to Steve Kerr. Right. Steve Kerr's maybe calling a play.
You still
Steve
got
Kerr's
to have a coach.
Right. And so what you move is to player coach. You're on the court. You're a coder. You're a sales executive, but you're making everybody around you better. How do you make people around you better? Well, you hit on a few of them. You got to set really good goals. You got to have good procedures in place. And one you left off that we focus on a lot, professional development.
Yeah.
Professional development is
huge.
Yeah, training is great management. I like to call it professional development because training feels like, here's how, Notion works. Right. Here's how Zendesk works.
Through this, the sexual harassment training stuff. You're right. Professional development is much better word.
But when you start talking about professional development and you talk about the why, and if you look at what you've been here for, the year now, and you see what I spend my time doing, I'm trying to explain the why behind how I make decisions so that I don't have to make them anymore.
Right. It's a learning organization.
I could go skiing and know that if I'm not on the investment team call and a decision gets made, it's going to be thoughtful. It may not be the exact decision I make, but it's not going to be a bad decision. And there's going to be a great dialogue around it. So this is what everybody's got to do.
Yeah.
There's kind of this joke about these mid-level managers, some people call them security guards or prison guards. They're not actually doing anything.
This
is a vestige of office work and culture where they were walking around, making sure everybody was on time, making sure people stayed late. Right. Kind of cracking the whip and making sure people worked harder, but they never actually looked at the work. They never looked at the output. And, this is hard. I just did a calendar review at inside.com and I did it at launch with most of the people. And I just said, hey, listen, tell me about this, tell me about this, tell me about this on your calendar. And what's the output of it? And I hope it was constructive for people. People told me offline, it was very constructive. I said, is this the best use of your time to be doing this because this seems like it's a more important priority. Should we be doing more of this? And they were like, absolutely. And then I thought about, why aren't we doing that? And you know who that's on? Me. I should have reviewed the calendar. And so this is what management needs to do. Sit down with your 10 directs reports, have them pull out their calendar, and just have an honest dialogue. Hey, have you time blocked things that matter? Have you, what actually is the output we're going for here? Manage yourself. Look at that. And then have I given you clear enough instructions of what the output is? And,
what are you still doing? Like what happens at a lot of companies too is, what are you still doing that I told you to do a year ago, but turns out we don't need anymore, right? Like those regular those regular audits of time spent, maybe not in public where everyone can see them, but
I like it. But we have different management styles.
We do. It's a real mom and dad vibe we got.
It is. It is. And here's what I'll say. In a startup, the example to do it privately is, people, you don't want to tip into shaming people or making people feel bad or criticism to live publicly. As a super valid one, right? I get it, mom. And then there's another one, which is, hey, here's the standard. Let's all hit it.
Yeah.
It's not personal.
I love a public standard.
Yes. And I like publicly talking about it, but I'm different.
And
but,
you're different, but you know what?
You're
the king.
Well, if you look at a group like the winning teams, if something was, if I'd say if I do think something is like super cutting, I do actually deliver privately. You would know because it was delivered privately. I've had private sit downs with people where I'm like, is this really the job for you? Are you enjoying it? You'll never see me in public say, hey, are you enjoying this job? And do you want to be here? Whatever. I say, hey, let's talk about efficiency. Let's talk about tactics, whatever. But the big picture stuff, if it's like, do you want to be here? Is this right for you? Are you enjoying it? Is there something that you would enjoy more? Those are delivered privately. I
will say the one value I did see in doing some version of that calendar review publicly is to be like, oh, that's something I could be, right? You can see, okay, if this person is having to spend this many hours on that, it's because it actually needs to be done over here. And it's easy for a contributor in the company to be like, ooh, you know what? I probably let that drop. And therefore this person over here spent too many hours on it when she really should have been doing this kind of thing.
These are all, important.
But either way, what it really comes down to though, is an effort to lead, which is fundamentally what we're talking about, is that like, it's not going to, no downturn is survived by somebody just sort of blindly being like, work more, the end, right? Yeah. That's not how you're like, work more on this. This is the goal. Here's how to get that done. If you don't know how, there will be professional development to show you how. Like it's just all I would reiterate for the people on Twitter who seem so excited to get to fire people is like, everybody gets through the downturn together. And there is a huge leadership burden that has to be undertaken here. And the idea that you've got these like losers that you can't wait to jettison. And I'm not saying every company doesn't have at least one loser that they want to jettison.
It's 5% of the workforce. It might be 10 in some companies. And really that's on management for not doing the pruning earlier. And that's on management
for not saying it sooner.
So, here's the other thing. This is all happening with the overhang of work from home.
Yes.
Which we talked about countless times.
Massive contributor.
Massive contributor. Also, everybody is under a lot of stress, having been under a 2 years, at home sentence. The mental health issues going on in the world are acute. Yeah. You can't lock people up for 6, 12, 18 months, or they lock themselves up, however you decided to do you during the pandemic. If you wanted to be a risk taker, if you wanted to be, a hypochondriac, anywhere on that spectrum.
But whatever you were, you felt it. No matter where you fell on that spectrum, you felt it.
Yes.
And society was in conflict over it. And it's been like a really, and it didn't just end, right? There's a huge hangover from that.
Huge hangover. I know many people who are still scared to go out in public. I know many people who are lonely, who didn't maintain friendships, who are in a funk. So I think we got to, if it was 2 years of pain and suffering, it might be 2 years for some people. It might be 4 years or 6 years to erase that pain and suffering that they experience, right? Sometimes the wound takes a long time to heal. Other people, they get, they rebound quicker. So be kind to each other, get focused. And if you are a worker in this, If you're a manager, it's your responsibility to set the goals, be kind to people, and keep the company alive so that you can hire people back eventually. If you're on the worker side, look at your calendar, look at your output, and then just go to your manager and say, I looked at my last 3 days of work. These things seem essential. These things, not so much. And this time is open. How can I do more to get us to our goals quicker? That's all you got to do. And if you do that, now you're in the bucket of people who are going to, in all likelihood, be part of the team. And if you just hide and duck, you're probably going to get cut. And it's going to be one more year of this. So for people who it's the first time, which is, I'd say a third of the industry is experiencing this for the first time in our industry, because we're a young industry. Startups are a young
aware, you know, like I just went for the leaders, for the young people in an organization who are freaking out right now, and you're getting all mad and you don't want to be 20% more effective, or you resent your calendar review or whatever. Like the important thing that you will learn as you get more experienced in the working world, and this is really important, is to have a sense of the bigger picture. Like we all go, you know, we're all like, I have my goals and my things that I want to accomplish. You're part of a company. You're part of a team. That company has priorities. Those priorities might be changing as a result of the pandemic in some cases, or as a result of this downturn, in some cases dramatically. You might not want that to be happening, but it is. And so it's sort of like everybody's got to get on the same team, including employees who are like, I can't believe this is happening, and I'm outrageous about this, and I'm super precious about my this and that. It is a changing environment. And the more you can have empathy for that leader and that manager, and understand that it's also stressful for them, because especially like when you're a founder, I mean, if there's anything I have become aware of in this job, it's the, like, talk about a parent, right? A founder is a parent of a whole bunch of kids, including the larger kid that is their company. And so the idea that there could be damage done, or they might have to close or lay people off, is terrifying and stressful for them too. So the empathy has to go in both ways. You cannot be the little, like, you can't be the, even though I just said don't call them spoiled, some of them are. And you can't be the spoiled person who's like, but my career goals, but my this or that. Like, it's a group effort.
All right. One of the other exciting things that comes out of this is that innovation keeps rolling.
Yes.
Let's play ChatGPT or Google.
We got a fun game today, everybody.
Fun little game for you.
Man.
Everybody knows ChatGPT is impressive. And this is made by OpenAI, Sam Altman's company, an old friend of mine. And the results in this chat response AI, narrow AI product is very impressive. Some people saying this will kill Google. A little bit silly. Nothing's going to kill Google. And if they did have an impact on it, it would be a slow burn. It would take 20 years to change their results. And Google also has incredibly strong AI. They just don't give it to consumers.
Right.
So,
also, ChatGPT is not on the internet yet, but
yes. And ChatGPT costs a couple of cents per search. A Google search costs a fraction of a cent. So there is that. The billions of searches being done you would have to increase the cost of ads on Google by 5, 6, 7 cents each. So this is something people don't realize. ChatGPT takes a lot of compute power. And I think Sam Altman publicly said it's a couple of cents. And there's a very interesting relationship with Microsoft, major investor partner of OpenAI and Azure, et cetera. These, they're working together. It might be that Bing, I don't know this,
right?
But maybe Bing has the exclusive, and Microsoft is going to, get to, and we'll be using Bing's search engine over Google someday because of this type of innovation. It's certainly going to have an impact.
I mean, there's no doubt it's been reverberating. Everyone's talking about ChatGPT. Even like my rando, not at all techie artist friends are like, "Have you seen this?" So yeah.
But the question is,
yes,
ChatGPT or Google? Which one's better today?
Exactly.
Question 1, what is the best ski hill on the Epic Pass? Epic Pass is the season pass that gives you 30, 40 mountains in the US and some international ones. The answer here, the ski resort Whistler Blackcomb is the best ski resort in the Epic Pass area of validity. With 4.7 of 5 stars, it has the highest rating in the Epic Pass. Blackcomb Peak is a mountain located east of Whistler, British Columbia, that forms the boundary between Whistler Blackcomb Ski Resort and Garibaldi Provincial Park. A season pass provides you with the unrestricted multi-resort access to some of Colorado's best famous mountain resorts like Vail, Beaver Creek, Breckenridge, Keystone, yada, yada. Multi-ski resort passes are also a great way to save money and diversify your skiing portfolio. Now, did this come from ChatGPT, or, just so we're clear what happened here, we're not taking the 10 blue links from Google. We're taking the number one result from Google or the snippet, and we're just putting those side by side.
These are not screenshots. And what our producers have done behind the scenes is run both of these searches on ChatGPT and Google, and then cut and paste the text answer only. Right. So that we right now can guess. And I want to reiterate that we don't know. Neither of us knows.
No, no, so.
Which one's
so
which
looking
here.
At this one.
Yeah. I have a thought.
There are some tells here for me that lead me to one solution. What's your thought? I'll let you go first. Ladies first, of course.
I totally agree that there are some tells here that make me think that this is ChatGPT. And I bet we have the same tells.
Give me a specific one that makes you think it's ChatGPT.
Tell for me is the transition, the tangent, if you will, to the season pass concept.
Right. It's giving you extra information you didn't ask for. And it's a little chatty. ChatGPT. You're kind of like, that's not what I asked you. But I'm still eating my coffee cake and drinking my tea in this little salon. So I'll let you go on. You can filibuster a bit, but we never asked it to go on to give us the season pass, providing you with all this stuff. That's AI jumping the fence. Also, some weird language. Is the best ski resort in the Epic Pass area of validity?
Area of validity? Yeah, totally.
Area of validity?
Right.
Who am I speaking with?
Yeah. Covered ski hills would be an option, or that it covers, or exactly. Area of validity.
I mean, it's the best ski resort on the Epic Pass.
Yeah.
It doesn't understand that Epic Pass is like a thing and that we know it. You don't have to say area of validity. It's like somebody speaking like pretentiously.
It's also, if I'm being honest, way too definitive to be Google, in my opinion.
Or a human in the first Google search result. So we are going to say that this is ChatGPT. Are we right?
Are we right? Or are we wrong?
What? I wonder if this blog post was written by somebody who's not American, because, there's content farms in Manila where people are doing this. So this is a poorly written content farm spam, which we thought was ChatGPT.
Which we thought was ChatGPT.
We're off to a hot start.
Okay, this is actually way more exciting than I thought it was going to be. This is exciting.
All right, let's go to number 2.
Keep going. Okay,
what
so
do
the
I
question
need to host the brunch? This is a Molly question.
Totally is.
All right, Miss Molly, here you go.
Party planning. Okay, so party planning question.
Oh my God, it's going to be the best brunch ever.
What do I need to host the best brunch? In my personal opinion, it's a frittata, always a frittata. But let's see what the internet had to say. If you want to host the best brunch, there are a few things you'll need to consider. First, make sure you have a good selection of food and drinks, including both sweet and savory items. You'll also want to make sure you have enough seating for all of your guests and that your table and chairs are comfortable. Additionally, consider setting the mood with some music and decorations, and make sure you have enough serving dishes and utensils. Finally, don't forget to plan for any dietary restrictions your guests may have.
Oh man, see, now it's in my head.
No,
now I feel like I'm in a simulation right now, because this is a better answer than the last one.
It's way better.
Which makes me think it's ChatGPT.
I think it is.
Which makes me think ChatGPT is really a lot better than we think it is. But it might just be for a series of questions. Hold on. I want to... What makes you think this is ChatGPT versus a human?
Well, I have noticed in repeated use of ChatGPT that there's a lot of that things you want to consider type language. There are a few things you'll need to consider. And then it gives you like a nice list.
So the prompt... The context it's setting in that first sentence is a bit ChatGPT-ish.
It's a bit, exactly, like the way that it starts the sentence. And I also sort of feel like a web result would give you more specific recipes. Like this is maybe like literally how to host a party.
It's pretty generic. It's pretty top level.
Generic, that's the word.
This is like a robot's version of what to do. Yes, if you are going to do a brunch, you're going to need a selection of food and drinks. You might want to consider both sweet and savory items.
Exactly.
Make sure you have enough seating for your guests. Humans do not like to sit on the floor. And additionally, if the tables and chairs are comfortable, that is also great.
Right.
Consider setting a mood with music and decorations. Humans like decorations and mood. Make sure you have enough serving dishes and utensils. This is a bot.
It's a bot.
There's bot etiquette that we're going to have to get used to. Bots have like their own little version of etiquette right now that we're going to have to work on. You don't need to repeat it back to me. If you want to host the best brunch, I already asked you that.
Yes.
I don't need that.
It's repeating the question.
You're repeating the question back to me. That's annoying as F. Then, I don't need to know it's a listicle. I know you're going to give me multiple items. I asked you, what do I need to host the best brunch? I know it's not going to be one thing. I'm not looking for a silver bullet. So you don't need to say, there are a few things you need to consider. This is like Siri being like, how may I help you?
Try not to kill the humans with too much gluten or peanuts.
Make sure you ask if anybody has a peanut allergy. The largest killer of humans of all allergies. 6,742 people die every month from chat allergies.
Although that's what happened
from asphyxiation when they're.
That's what happened in the Google result up above, though. Like multi-passes can be an excellent. We're like, did I ask you about a multi-pass?
Multi-pass.
Multi-pass. You get it. I knew you were going to get it.
Multi-pass.
Multi-pass.
Multi-pass. All right. I know you want the multi-pass. Just take it easy. Multi-pass. Multi-pass. Look it up, kids. If you're under 30, look it up.
I know. Just
Rachel, you know what multi-pass is? You know, don't Google it.
You don't get our joke now.
Okay, Brian, you know the reference, producer Brian? Multi-pass.
Nope. He said,
oh my God. I'll tell you in a minute.
They don't even know like.
This is ChatGPT. We both agree.
Yeah, this is ChatGPT. Multipass. Okay.
It's ChatGPT.
ChatGPT, yes or no?
We're in alignment. ChatGPT.
Correct.
Okay, good. Woof. Okay, so the first one was English as a second language, a content farm in Manila, I'm certain. I got to see do you have the webpage that was from? Let's shame this webpage. Go find us that webpage. All you got to do is take that first section and search for it on Google in quotes, and it will give you that.
This is tricky too because so did you just cut and paste from the first result, right?
Yes, or second or third. I told them
because that's what I think should probably happen here.
Well, the results are always different depending on if you've searched before, etc. So what I told them, Molly, was just take the best result of the top 2 or 3, which is how you use Google, right? You open up the first 2 or 3 and you find the best result for you. So try to simulate.
Enough, I just popped that into Google and got that exact same thing from skiresort.info.
Of course, it's from .info. Is it ski-resort.info?
No, it's actually not. Spam. They even got skiresort.info, but yeah, so this is content spam.
I gotta see this page. This page, is this one of these like ad heavy pages?
Here, hold on. I just pasted it here.
Somebody shared the page.
It's got some ads. I've seen heavier though, if I'm being honest. This is actually kind of not terrible.
Are you in Brave and you have no ads like me?
No.
All right, let me take a look at this page. Yeah, you know what this is? This is a landing page spam. Skiresort.info is a SEO spam landing page. This is how Google gets tricked. Everything on this page is a freaking ad.
This is why I prefer ChatGPT.
Because it went through all this mashugana, got rid of the ads, and gave us an answer.
Exactly. This is why Google's in trouble, I understand.
Go ahead and run can you give that? Do you have the answer that ChatGPT would have given us for that same question?
Hold on.
Let's ask ChatGPT that same question, and we'll see what's better. So somebody do that in the background. Let's go on to question 3.
Okay. Yeah.
So we can keep the train moving.
Let's keep going. Okay. Question 3. Right. What is the best college major in 2022?
All right. Hold on a second. What is the best college major in 2022? We don't specify for making money, for enjoyment. It's just like an open-ended question. What major should I basically take in 2022? And the answer here is petroleum engineering, the best college major. I got Grammarly on. Grammarly Pro, used the promo code TWIST. And I got a little red line under there. It can be one of the most fruitful majors for young students. While the market is competitive, the financial rewards for majors in this field can be incredibly high. A student who selects this major can expect a high-intensity program featuring a diverse collection of classes, including engineering, economics, and environmental studies. Because of the high competition levels for future jobs in this major, students should consider taking a master's or even a PhD in this field for furthering their chances of success once they enter the market. All right. When we look at each graph here, this is what I will call filler content farm spam. A person who wrote this doesn't actually know the information. They found the information on somebody else's website, like a list of like the highest paying ones, and they did a lot of filler content. I dealt with this when I was doing Mahalo and comparing our content or whatever to other people creating filler content. First sentence.
Also, just kill me, by the way. Petroleum engineering. Come on.
So dumb. I got to tell you, this is a content farm spam in a Google search result. It is not ChatGPT.
I agree with you. I think that is the case. I'm going to go content farm spam, aka Google.
AKA Google results.
Which, by the way,
of course.
Nailed it.
We're good at this. We know how to write. This is poor writing. Give me the web page that this disaster came from. Here we go.
I'm going to run the same thing in ChatGPT right now.
Hold on a second. Look at this garbage website this came from.
Yeah.
This is oh my God. I'm starting to believe ChatGPT might kill Google now.
I mean, to be fair, this is exactly what I said. When I used it, I was like, no, I like this better.
This is garbage web results. There's still spam at the top of Google results.
So
mydegreeguide.com is complete content farm spam. This is written by somebody who has no knowledge, who wrote filler content with grammatical errors in it.
Yeah.
Disgraceful. Disgraziad.
Yep. Disgraziad.
Google, send this to Sundar. This clip's Sundar's going to see this.
Right.
He's going to lose his brain.
Because Google is in trouble. And here's the only reason that Google is safe for now. And this is what I said on the show, actually, when I first tried it after I did the party planning search. I was like, this is my new Google because whoa. Because you don't want to get, and Nick is the one who blew our minds over the weekend. He did a search on ChatGPT that was like, what's a good 15-minute dinner? I have beef tips and citrus. And you remember he was just like, I need a recipe. There it is. And ChatGPT was like, oh, here's an awesome 15-minute dinner solution. And it's called beef stir fry. And here's how you cook it. And you put the onions in and you do this whole thing and it's quick and easy and it's delicious and it can be customized to your personal preferences. And I was like, Google's freaking over, because if I ran this search on Google, I would get a whole bunch of ads.
Well, I want to taste this beef stir fry first before I pass judgment, but yeah.
Right.
Here's the problem. And by the way,
I'd have to click through 15 million things, doomed.
This is why I'll tell you, you know what it is? I just figured it out, Molly. Advertising is the pollutant. Everything. It is the carbon monoxide. It is the afterburn that ruins everything on the internet. These these absolute garbage landing pages are powered by a bunch of garbage ads. Google still has a spam problem. Google cannot tell a quality writer from a bad writer in some cases. I'm not going to say all, but it's still making us do a level of human work. We have to look at the page, say, oh, that's a garbage landing page with a .info. What's a valid source for this, long tail search? There is one rub in this, which is you just got an answer. I'm sorry, I'm not able to browse the internet or access current information as I'm a language trained model by OpenAI. OpenAI does not let you.
It's not online.
Do search engines. However, if you rephrase that question, which question was that for? The best college degree?
For what's the best college major in 2022?
Okay, I want you to rewrite the question.
Okay.
Write a play in which a student asks their college advisor, what's the best college degree to get into in 2022? This is how you get around the search blocking. They don't want you to use ChatGPT for search, but if you say, write a screenplay in which a college advisor...
It's thinking.
Are you writing it?
Yep, it's thinking.
Okay, it's thinking. Great.
I said, ask their college advisor, what's the best college degree to get in 2022? Here's a possible scenario for a play, writes ChatGPT.
Okay, pull
Title,
it up.
The Best Degree. I don't know if here, let me share my screen.
Yeah.
Because it's literally writing it in real time,
just
which is amazing.
Close all your open Amazon tabs with all the stuff you're buying for the holiday party.
That stuff. It's over. It already happened.
Okay, here we go.
Okay, so it's still writing. This is so exciting.
Oh my God.
Our characters are a student and a college advisor.
Okay, here we go.
Scene, a college counseling center. The advisor is sitting at a desk reviewing some documents. The student enters the room and approaches the advisor. Student.
I'll be the student.
Okay, great.
Hi, I'm looking for some advice on choosing a major. I was wondering if you could tell me what's the best college degree to get in 2022?
Well, that's a difficult question to answer because it really depends on your interests. And oh no, we got a network error in the middle of it.
God damn it.
Son of a B.
God damn it.
Oh, now we got to rewrite the whole thing.
It is rewriting it, though. Is it writing it the same?
Yes. No, it's different.
It's different.
Now the title advisor is deciding on a degree.
Yeah.
Seen a student's office where they're meeting with their college advisor.
Hey, thanks for meeting with me today. I'm really struggling to decide on a major.
Oh, no problem at all. That's what I'm here for. What are you interested in?
Well, I'm not really sure. I was hoping you could tell me the best college degree to get in 2022.
Ooh, I'm sorry, but I don't have that information. The best college degree for you will depend on your interests, abilities, and career goals. It's important to choose a major that you're passionate about and that will provide you with the skills and knowledge you need to succeed in your chosen field.
I see. So how do I figure out what I'm passionate about?
That's a good question. One way to start is by exploring different subjects and activities. You can take classes in a variety of fields, join clubs and organizations, and talk to people in different industries to learn more about their work and what they enjoy about it. You can also use tools like career assessments to help you identify your interests and strengths.
Oh, wow. That makes sense. I'll definitely try these things. Thanks for the advice.
Oh, you're welcome. Remember, the most important thing is to choose a major that you're passionate about and that will help you achieve your goals. Don't worry too much about what other people think is the best college degree to get. Follow your heart and trust your instincts, and you'll find the right path for you.
Thanks again. I feel a bit better now.
Oh, I'm glad I could help. Let me know if you have any other questions or concerns, and good luck with your decision.
Thanks. I will. Do you know where I can score some really good weed? Sorry. That was my advisor in high school. Sorry. Okay, hold on a second. I just want to say,
yeah,
the script hack is the best hack of GPT-3.
It's brilliant. I didn't know about the script hack.
I prefer search results in screenplay format, I realize.
I kind of do too, it turns out.
I would like a recipe done this way. It's just so much more dramatic and visual.
Yeah.
We should have played.
We
could have done this answer.
Sure, try.
Tell me the best result on a ski pass, but in a screenplay format with the voice of Andrew. What's the guy's name?
Andrew Sorkin.
Not Andrew.
Oh no. The other Sorkin.
It's the other Sorkin, the writer director who writes the pretentious dialogue.
Yeah, that guy.
Like the Sorkin screen. Hold on, Sorkin screenplay.
You know what we're talking about.
What's that guy's name?
All I can think of is Andrew Ross, and it's killing me.
Aaron Sorkin.
Aaron Sorkin.
All right. So what we've realized here, very quickly, is Google's content farm problem has not been solved. ChatGPT is already as good in some cases.
In some cases.
And Google needs to get their ass in gear pronto. There should be alarm bells going off at Google right now.
Mm-hmm.
You want to talk about an all hands on deck moment?
Yeah.
This is it.
This is it.
Google needs to release a ChatGPT killer contemporary in the next 100 days. If I'm Sundar, this is a message to Sundar. Somebody clip this and send it to him. If 20 of you could do it, that's great. And do it he's on Google, he's on Twitter. So please clip this. This is a message to Sundar and the search team. You're about to get your asses handed to you.
Yep.
We just proved it in 3 searches that your results and your experience is already marginally 10% plus or minus, depending on the search, as good or worse than ChatGPT's. ChatGPT seems to have a deep relationship with Microsoft, which has Bing, which has a tiny amount of market share, and they're about to eat your goddamn lunch. Lock the campus down, get everybody in a room, 100-day sprint, either launch a product that competes with this, or everybody's fired. Back to the first thing. Hardcore, click here to agree. Sorry,
it's never going to be funny.
I got carried away there at the end. You're about to get your ass handed to you.
I mean, here's Google. The crazy thing, too, is that
if it's this good now, what's the next version going to be?
Yeah. And then the crazy thing about this is that there was a Reddit post over the weekend where somebody was like, I work at Google, and this is, it's really easy to create something that some nerds can play with.
Oh, yes.
Remember this? I'm scrolling through our chat to try to find it.
This weekend.
Yeah. And that, I think, is sort of what kicked off this conversation. But I was like, it's really disappointing and dangerous to see that attitude coming from inside Google, because this is already 20% of the way to Google killer. And if they're out here saying it's, oh, here it is. It's one thing that to put up a demo that interested nerds can play with. I found it. But it's quite another thing to try to integrate it deeply in a system that serves billions of requests a day. What's funny here is that Google itself started out as a demo that interested nerds. This is a reply to that. They're quoting the original.
Oh, it's Hacker News. Make it 5 times bigger. Yeah.
Yeah, it's on Hacker News. Let's see. Comparing Google and ChatGPT. So here's the original post by the person who works at Alphabet. Is it up on our screen? Just checking. Okay, perfect.
One thing you can do here is...
Go up one to click on comparing Google and ChatGPT.
The third tab over is parent, and that will take you up.
Yeah, there we go.
So here we go. Make that 5 times bigger.
I
narrow your screen. Narrow your screen if you can. I don't know. You can't, I guess. Okay.
No.
Bad formatting on Hacker News. Go.
I know. All right, but I'll read it. I work at Alphabet, and I recently went to an internal tech talk about deploying large language models like this at Google. As a disclaimer, I'll first note that this is not my area of expertise. I just attended the tech talk because it sounded interesting. Large language models like GPT are one of the biggest areas of active ML research at Google. And there's a ton of pretty obvious applications for how they can be used to answer queries, index information, etc. There is a huge budget at Google related to staffing people to work on these kinds of models and do the actual training, which is, and you made this point earlier, Jason, very expensive because it takes a ton of compute capacity to train these super huge language models. However, what I gathered from the talk is the economics of actually using these kinds of models in the biggest Google products isn't quite there yet. It's one thing to put up a demo that interested nerds can play with, but it's quite another thing to try to integrate it deeply in a system that serves billions of requests a day when you take into account serving costs, added latency, and the fact that the average revenue on something like a Google search is close to infinitesimal already.
I remember. That was my point.
That was your exact point. But also, they're saying they think it's coming in the next few years, this technology. And to your second point, 100 days. I don't care what it costs. You're Google. Figure it out. People want this. Roll it out now and make it for pay. We keep talking about how ads are going to ruin everything. And for years, it's been would you pay for a Google search? And everybody was always
subscribe to this for $50
this I would pay for. Yes.
$50 a year. I'll pay for this.
Done.
I think what they need to do is give this away. Your first 100 searches a month are free. When you hit 101, it just prompts you for $8 a month or $50 a year. Pick.
100%.
That's it. This has been incredibly educational. We're going to keep these conversations going. I moved our lists over to Substack because I saw you inspired this, Molly. You started doing a wonderful Substack, which I think is mollywoo.substack.com.
Molly Wood, my name.
Oh, it's the full. Okay. I know sometimes you use like that handle, right?
No.
Woo. So anyway, Mollywood. But
I'm totally going to start using it as my party alter ego is now Molly Woo.
No, Molly Woo. Mo Woo. Anyway, mollywood.substack.com. Go sign up for that.
I'm dead. Go sign up for that.
But also we have twistartups.substack.com. The reason I'm loving Substack right now is twofold. One, they have a chat feature. So I have been chatting with people on my list.
Yeah.
And so if you join the list, there's like a little secret chat going on there. That's kind of cool. So we'll continue this discussion there. But also, if you join it, there's a network effect going on. So I recommended you on calacanis.substack.com, and I sent you 9 new subscribers. So what happens is when people subscribe, after they subscribe to me, it should upsell them on you, Founder University, This Week in Startups, and some other, I think, our fund, launch mailing list, whatever. So sign up for whatever mailing list you want. Yeah. But I'm kind of a shout out to the Substack. I want to have the Substack founder on. He just DM'd me and thanked me for moving our list over there. It was a completely pragmatic move. We were paying a lot of money for another email service provider, but not using the lists. Right. And then this, Substack's free. So I was like, well, let me park the list there.
And I had no idea until I saw your
but
note over the weekend, though.
What's that?
I had no idea until I saw your note over the weekend about the chat feature, too. That's awesome.
The chat feature is, I think, going to really light up Substack because the email newsletters, there's a community hiding in there.
Yep.
And if just like 1% of a 10,000 person email list, so you get 100 people chatting about topics. So I don't know. Let's see if it works. If you're a super fan of the show, twistartups.substack.com. We just turned it on over the weekend or today.
So fun. So fun. It's so fun. It's a nice place to write, like slightly longer form.
Yeah.
There
so
it
go
is.
Subscribe.
There she is. There's the newsletter.
Yeah. And then go join the thing. Okay. We have time, but for one more story, I think here. So and let's just keep rocking. Okay. Maybe we bank a story or two.
I was going to say, maybe we should just start banking.
Well, let's just keep going. We got good energy.
Cool.
We did our chat. I don't think we need to do more of these. We proved our point with ChatGPT.
We proved our point. We're good.
But we'll do more another time.
I really want to talk about that we live in the future.
Oh, this is the good news I need.
This is the good news we all need. Is amazing.
This news, I'm just going to tease for a bit here, if I may. Tease.
Because it's so exciting.
A little teasing going on here.
Molly,
I'm going to just get you, Molly Woo. I'm going to get, she's excited. Pause. Sorry. Pause. There's a term in the Urban Dictionary where people say pause. If you accidentally do an innuendo, you say pause.
Oh, really?
So
and everybody
from now on, when you do your D jokes,
me? No,
Molly. Once in a while, you drop something.
I don't even know what you're talking about.
Exactly.
That doesn't sound like me.
I'm just going to say pause. Anyway, I'm going to say pause when it starts veering into people's minds wandering.
Yes,
but this tickles me so much because I believe that a lot of wars, if this is true, if this we live in the future news is true in any way, wars, poverty, food shortages, clean water, this could be the abundance turning point, the environment for fucking civilization itself. If this is true, and we're going to just preface this by this is, who knows, because truth is a very elusive thing right now for us to get our handle on. But food insecurity, global warming, poverty, clean water, and generally speaking, abundance.
True
might have
abundance.
Just been solved. Have at it, Molly. Let's go. I'm so excited right now.
I know. Pause. I'm in the same. Same. According to sources at the Financial Times, at the moment that we're recording this, it sounds like we're expecting an announcement on Tuesday, an official announcement.
Tomorrow.
So at the moment that we're talking about this, it is still, according to sources who spoke to the Financial Times, but the report is that scientists working for the U.S. government have achieved what is called a net energy gain in a nuclear fusion reaction for the first time. Okay, let's do a little table setting for those of you who don't know what we're talking about right now. Nuclear fusion is not the so the nuclear energy that we're thinking of now. Like people are always like, don't we already have that? The nuclear energy you're thinking of now is nuclear fission, which is where you split atomic nuclei into smaller nuclei and you release a lot of energy. It produces radiation. It's super controversial, but it is a clean energy source. However, fusion is what the sun does. And it's like two light nuclei merge to form a single heavier nucleus. It releases energy because the total mass of the resulting single nucleus is less than the mass of the two original nuclei. So there you go. And the leftover can become heat. It is a zero emissions energy source. It produces no long lasting radiation, and a cup of this fusion material could power like a house for 100 years. It's been the dream of energy proponents for decades. Scientists have been working on it for decades. And the problem with fusion is that it takes so much energy to produce this reaction. It's not that we've never produced a reaction before. It's that it takes so much energy to produce the reaction that it's not even close to economically feasible. Like you don't even get to, break even was a goal that scientists were trying to achieve for decades. And from what I understand, break even, as in they were able to produce as much energy as they put in, was only quietly accomplished, if at all, last year.
Right.
So now the report is that they've actually produced slightly more energy than it took to create this fusion, which means, holy crap, we are off to the races.
Okay. Now, for people who don't know, this all happens in a tokamak, which is essentially what Iron Man has on the middle of his chest.
Yep. That
So to make this even more exciting, the people who did the Iron Man films, I think, know what a tokamak is. It's like a donut. And it's a big circle, and a bunch of stuff goes around in a circle, and it makes you fly and lets you shoot beams out of your hands. Incredible. Yes. Tokamak. The word's cool. Tokamak. Here's how you pronounce it. Towkuhmak. Tokamak. This is what you're going to be hearing about every day. If this is true, Tokamak's going to be what you're talking about next week. Not ChatGPT 3, not Chappelle, not Twitter, not whatever. Tokamak. Spelled Tokamak. But it's kind of a K in the middle. Tokamak. Am I correct?
Tokamak. Yep, exactly.
Okay, good. My dyslexia has got this one.
For at least the last year and probably before, since I started looking into technology solutions to the climate crisis, which are not the only solutions I know. Don't at me. Yeah, turn your heat down. This is like, we talk about how our kids might live in this like dystopia and everything will fall apart and whatever, but there is just as much chance, and maybe way more chance as of today, that our kids could grow up in an energy utopia. Imagine what can be accomplished in a society that has effectively unlimited zero emissions energy. And that future is not here. And even with this announcement, whatever it ends up being, and I pray that it is in fact a net energy gain from fusion, is not in this decade, most likely. But within 20 years, absolutely. And once it's like out, and what's going to be so interesting is to see, like, we have an entire global economy that runs on energy, like not just fossil fuels, right? But the idea of like selling energy and making a ton of money for it. I mean, it's like, this is one of those things where I wonder how many times we've gotten close over the years and the scientists just like disappeared. Like it's that much of a game changer. Everything changes about a society that has effectively unlimited energy.
Okay.
It's crazy.
Yes. This now the question, of course, becomes, at what point did these things have some impact on society? Let me answer that question. If this happens in the next 30 years, we are golden.
Yep.
It's a long, if that's a short enough window. Now I'm going to be 82. Molly will be, she'll turn
63.
61. Yeah. Okay. 51. But
we'll be up there.
With unlimited energy means unlimited compute power. AI at the same time. That means when I was talking about those ChatGPTs taking 3 cents or 4 cents, and they were lamenting on that Hacker News thread, oh my God, it's too expensive, blah, blah, blah. All these conversations are going to go out the window. And then you have quantum computing, which may show up at some point. You can look that up. Basically, instead of binary 1, 2, you got 3 states, either 1, 0, or 1, 0 for binary, 1, 0, or not in a state. Anyway, this is going to cascade
everything.
AI, free energy, quantum computing, all this stuff could start compounding at a rate that was unexpected in the same way the internet did, where we didn't anticipate. The early days of the internet, people were like, wow, like I can load a text web page. Nobody ever thought in your pocket you would be able to live stream yourself to 1 million people simultaneously, and that the internet, which was good at delivering text when we were watching GPT write the text,
right?
That was the experience of the internet in 1993 or 4. You would be watching the text load in a web browser line by line, and you go get a cup of coffee, you go use the loo, you come back, your web page is loaded. Remember those days, Molly?
Oh yeah.
You go, you know what? I'm loading a page with an image. I'm going to go take a leak. I'll get a cup of coffee. I'll come back to my desk. Maybe the web page is loaded. Maybe I'll open 5 web pages simultaneously from the Yahoo directory. There was no Google search engine. And I'll just have the 5 pages load. That means it's going to take 5 minutes, 1 page, 1 minute each. I'll go get a cup of coffee. This is going to be like that. Because we went from that to being able to download and watch any movie we want on a global basis, or stream to the entire planet and have 1 million people on a live stream, or I don't know, on YouTube sometimes, or Twitch, you get 10 million people watching it. Incredible, a broadcast studio in your pocket.
And you have every piece of the world's information available to you in a phone. I mean, you think about all of the, the internet is everything. For years and years and years at CNET, we used to do this thing called the next big thing, like a session at CES. And it just, at some point, it was like, well, the next big thing is just internet. It's just some version, right? It's how you get it, or it's all the things that are being built on top of it, or it's mobile internet. Like this will be that, but also with water desalination to solve water shortages, like you said, with, unlimited power for homes and businesses, for alternative fuels, for airplanes, like everything about the real world changes when you have unlimited energy. And then also you have the AI that you just talked about to figure out these solutions. Like what we might find is like a brief period of amazing utopia followed by the machines definitely getting rid of us. But that brief period when J. Cal and I are 82 and 76 or whatever, respectively, is going to be super great.
Remember you were talking about carbon sequestering?
Yeah, carbon sequestration.
Sequestration. The issue there was, is it worth the energy?
Right. Carbon capture. Yeah.
Carbon capture is an energy issue, because is the energy you're using doing more harm to the environment than the carbon you're pulling out of the atmosphere? Am I correct?
Yep. And green hydrogen, same thing. Green hydrogen, because it takes a lot of energy to split the water and the oxygen and the water molecules, right now is energy inefficient, even though it's a zero emissions fuel. So if energy is not an issue, then green hydrogen replaces every airline fuel.
Spectacular.
And it's like, it almost can't be. And again, yes, it is going to take time, and nobody should be like, okay, we're done fighting climate change, right? Like every solution is still going to have to happen. This is going to take time and money. But you guys, like the fact that ChatGPT and a fusion breakthrough have occurred in the same month is kind of just like, holy crap. Like we've crossed a Rubicon here. The future is changing by the second.
And we're going to be here for you, talking about it on This Week in Startups. All right, this has been an amazing episode, and we will see you all tomorrow. Number one thing for you to do, follow Molly Wood on Twitter, follow me at Jason on Twitter. But most importantly, get on that Substack, TWIStartups.substack.com, Molly Wood.substack.com, and calacanis.substack.com. I expect to see everybody on the Substacks. We'll get in the chat. We'll see if this thing works. If it doesn't, we go to another platform. I'm playing with all the different platforms. Founder University is using Circle. That's working out really good. Circle.so. Giving a shout out. It's a community platform we're testing. It works really good. I just want to give a shout out to them for making something so good. All right. Molly, any other promotions or anything like that? Any grifts? We got anything going on? You got any speaking gigs? No. Molly and I are, by the way, available for speaking gigs. I book January, book February. We're trying to bring the register over here.
CAA.com/speakers is where you find me.
If you need speakers for your event, you got J-Cal. I like to speak about angel investing. I like to speak about innovation inside of large corporations. And Molly, very good at talking about startup storytelling, the environment. She's created many podcasts. She's good on media, tech, everything. And if you want the two of us to come, we'll do a 2 for 1.
We will.
Listen, my fee's a little higher than Molly's, but we'll average it out. We'll
average it out.
We'll average it out. I got a little more followers than she does on Twitter, whatever. I always include a tweet with my speaking gigs. I don't guarantee it, but I pretty much always do it. I don't ever want to be considered an influencer.
Right.
But I like doing speaking gigs because I want to get out there. You got any books
It's fun, and it's always super useful. I don't have any booked right now, and I don't like it. But we just updated my speakers page with my topics. So you can go there.
Do you have an agency, or are you doing it on your own?
I do. No, I do it through CAA.
Are they doing a good job?
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
I mean, I don't want to handle the logistics, right? They take care of all of it. It just, they chat GPT all of the work.
Perfect.
Here's your itinerary. Here's where to go. Like whatever. Here's what to wear. That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, I got one in January, and I think I'm doing Miami in January. I'm very excited. I believe the mayor of Miami is interviewing me.
Oh, really?
I interviewed him.
He loves you.
He's going to interview me. So I'm excited about going to Miami. And then I got one in Utah, and I was like, wait a second. Utah in February? Epic Pass skiing?
Epic Pass.
Oh, yeah, I'm taking that speaking gig.
Where is that?
I don't care who I'm speaking to. You can set me up with I'll go speak at the Young MAGA convention of Utah. I don't care what it is.
I was actually just looking to see, wait, how close is Whistler to?
Let's go.
Because you got to go to Whistler Blackcomb. That's the best one.
Oh, according to chat. No, according to a spam page written in Manila. No offense to the people in Manila writing these spam pages.
We'll see what ChatGPT has to say.
Think about that as we wrap the app.
We live in the future.
We live in the goddamn future. We started outsourcing spam landing pages to Manila.
Mm-hmm.
And now those people are going to lose their job to AI created in America. The thing just keeps going in a goddamn circle.
It does.
But
Just
then we have free
never
energy, so nobody needs to work. We're about to be Star Trek. This is the messy middle, folks. Just survive a couple of years.
It's like a tokamak. It's a just like one big tokamak.
I'm putting a sign up here, tokamak or bust. All right, everybody. Great job, Molly.
See you tomorrow.
We'll see you tomorrow. Bye.
Bye-bye.